Hi guys, it's Cameron here from Core Health Coaching. Hope you're having a good night and isolation's not sapping your energy or your mental energy anyway. Look, we've got a really great question today from one of our clients that is working from home, and I thought it'd be really good to just address that in this format so everyone could actually benefit from the answer. And it was around mindless eating. At home, she's finding that she's actually eating a lot more. So obviously there's access to it, but there's a couple of reasons why that actually happens. So I didn't want to just sort of say, hey, look, just stop doing it, because that's not really the answer. That's a disciplined sort of approach, and when you've got access to all the time might not be the right answer. So the first one is that as a technique is have an understanding that when you're actually hungry, it might not be the hunger that's the issue, you might be thirsty. So before you actually grab any food, what I actually want you to do is actually think about having a glass of water first, and you may find that hunger actually dissipates. As the body sometimes gets that feeling between hunger and hydration confused, because it might be underhydrated and that thirst mechanism isn't switched on. So that's the first thing that I would say is before you actually eat something, have a glass of water, and that may change that desire for hunger. So the second one is obviously when we're sitting at home, sometimes, we might be extending our day out, we might be a little bit bored, okay? So when we're sort of bored is we're not really thinking, we're saying, okay, what else we need to do? Sometimes we're looking food as a bit of a stimulant to feel good, to pick me up, okay? Because that's what food does. There's a reason why, we like chocolates. It makes us feel good, it stimulates us, and actually then that's one of the reasons what we're looking for is when we're actually kind of bored. So that's not the case for everyone, but that could be the case. And the thing with that is then to do something different, okay? So it's a trigger about doing something different. And what that might be is like just doing some squats. Just doing something that might be go out the backyard and run up and down some stairs. So it's just doing something different than going to the pantry or the fridge, okay? So most people will have a preference either pantry or fridge, but, is when you're actually in that mindless eating sort of component, just think about doing something different. So we talked about the water, we've talked about actually doing something different, maybe some exercise, could be actually phoning a friend or something along those lines. Hey Rob, how are you, mate? Thanks for joining us. So the next one is actually the complete opposite of being bored. What we might be is actually increased stress. So when we're actually sitting in a chair, it might not seem like we're doing a lot of exercise, but we're using a lot of mental power, and the brain actually uses a lot of our nutrition, and it's looking for sugars to pick me up, okay? So we might be, because we're sitting there for longer, is that we're actually looking for a pick-me-up again, and what I'd sort of suggest is either those two things in regards to water, a little bit of exercise, even some vitamin stuff like, I love the concept of Barocca, but it's about a pick-me-up sort of stuff. And vitamin B, vitamin B6 and B12 are really good around stress, so they're really good to have. Any foods that are really high in magnesium are really good around relaxing, but it might just be stopping and having a cup of herbal tea just to break that mindset of feeling overwhelmed or just feeling in denial about how much stuff you've got to do. I know I've been experiencing that in the last couple of weeks, and talking to my wife tonight, she's definitely in that space as well. So the third reason why you might be having that mindless eating is then kind of increased stress. We talked about being bored, and then also that your body might actually be thirsty rather than hungry. Another one is about access, okay? Look, I'm all or nothing type in regards to my personality. So if I've got chips or if I've got Coke or something in the fridge or in the cupboard, mate, not a lot's going to stop me. So the thing is to really deny access to a lot of that. I'm lazy enough not to go out and get it, and especially with isolation, you probably won't. But at the same time is that if it's not in the cupboard, okay, you can't eat it. So, have those healthier treats as substitutions, because if you haven't got access to the garbage sort of stuff, is then you're going to have something else. So as an example, if you like that salty sort of flavour, is that what you might do is actually have some root vegetable chips. So there's beetroot, kale, chips that you can actually get from health food shops that have that sea salt, which is a better quality salt anyway. And that's actually might be when you're stressed. So when you're actually eating, of course, is make sure that you're very mindful about that. So don't go back down to the computer and in front of the computer, is because what's happening is that your taste buds aren't going to stimulate and the brain's not going to recognise you've had food, and all of a sudden you're going to have a whole packet of chips even before you know it. So if you're going to take a break, sit somewhere, really enjoy the food you're going to have, even if it's garbage food. Enjoy it, because then the body's actually going to feel like it's actually had some food. Okay? So that fourth point is around access. Is if you've got access to it, you have to be disciplined. And to be honest, I'm not that good. So it's kind of like, if it's there, mate, I'm in trouble. If it's not, I'm not in trouble. So just think about that, is that the failure is actually not in that moment. The failure is actually when you go to shops and saying, oh, look, I'll buy that packet of chips, or I'll have that chocolate. I'll put it in the cupboard or the fridge just in case. And what do you know, just in case happens the following day. All right? So that's if you've got some discipline issues. I know some people that are awesome in that space, and congratulations. But they're not the ones that we're probably talking to with this. It's about that mindless eating that you're not even really thinking about it. And that's my last point, is that if it's mindless eating, you're not thinking about it, is to actually then go into mindfulness. So a couple of triggers for you around being able to switch on your brain is on your cupboard or on your fridge, is put some sort of note, like stop, or think, or do I need this, so that what happens is then before you open the cupboard, you're looking at this thing saying, okay, stop. And then it might be, okay, I want to do some squats, or I want to grab a drink of water before you then grab that food. So what that does is switch on your brain, just saying, okay, well, do I really want this? And the answer generally is no. But then what happens is you can then make a considered thought rather than a mindless thought. So hopefully that has actually helped you in regards to that additional eating that might be happening through isolation and lockdown. So, but there's the 5 things there we're talking about. You might be actually thirsty, you might be bored, you might be stressed. You've got access to it, so don't rely on your discipline. And the last one is about being mindful in relation to making those choices. So giving yourself time to actually stop thinking about it and making a better rational decision. So hopefully those points help. So have a great night, and hopefully we're not going to the fridge and the cupboard as much as we have been. So good night.